Chapter 19. Pilate then took Yeshua and scourged him. Moreover, the soldiers twisted together a crown of thorns and pressed it down upon his head. They placed a purple robe around him. They started to come before him and say, "Long live the King of the Jewish people." With this, they gave him slaps in the face. Once again, Pilate came outside and said to them, "Look, I am bringing him out to you, so that you may know that I find no criminal charge against him." Then Yeshua came out, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. Pilate said to them, "See, here is the man." When the chief priests and their assistants saw him, they raised a shout, saying, "You crucify! You crucify!" But Pilate said to them, "You should take him and crucify him, because I do not find a criminal charge against him." The people of Yehuda answered him, "We have a law code, and by that law he deserved to die because he made himself out to be the Son of God." After Pilate heard this statement, he became more alarmed, and he entered into the palace headquarters again and asked Yeshua, "Where are you from?" Yeshua, however, gave him no answer. At that, Pilate said to him, "Why do you not speak to me? Do you not know that I have authority to release you, and also I have authority to crucify you?" Yeshua answered, "You would have no authority over me unless it had been given to you from above. Because of this, the one who betrayed me into your hands has the greater sin." As a result of this, Pilate wanted to release him, but those people of Yehuda shouted out, saying, "If you release this man, you are no friend of Caesar. Anyone who makes himself out to be a king opposes Caesar." After Pilate heard these words, he brought Yeshua out and sat down upon the judgment seat at a place called the Stone Pavement, known in Hebrew as Gabbatha. Now it was the day of preparation for the Pesach celebration. It was about midday. He said to the people of Yehuda, "See, here is your king." At once they shouted out, "Go on, do it! You must crucify him." Pilate asked them, "Should I crucify your king?" The chief priests answered, "We have no king but Caesar." After this, he then turned him to the Roman soldiers to be crucified. With all that, they took Yeshua and made him go out, carrying his own cross beam to the area called the place of a skull, which is called Golgotha in Hebrew. There the Roman soldiers crucified him along with two other men, one on each side, with Yeshua in the middle between them. Moreover, Pilate wrote an inscription and fastened it at the top of the cross. It was written, "Yeshua from Nazareth, the King of the Jewish people." So then many of the Jewish people read this inscription because the place where Yeshua was crucified was near the city. It was written in Hebrew, Latin, and Greek. So the chief priests of the Jewish people were saying to Pilate, "Do not write the King of the Jewish people, but rather that he claim, 'I am King of the Jewish people.'" Pilate gave answer, "What I have written, I have written." Then the Roman soldiers, as soon as they had crucified Yeshua, took his outer garments and divided them into 4 shares, a share for every soldier. But in regard to the tunic shirt, the tunic was without a seam, woven from one piece of cloth. So they agreed with one another, "Let us not tear it, but toss dice for it, to determine whose it shall be." This happened to fulfill the scripture, "They divided my outer garments among them, and for my clothing they tossed dice." As a result, the soldiers took these actions. All the while, standing by the cross of Yeshua were his mother, his mother's sister Miriam, the wife of Clopas, and Miriam from Migdal. When Yeshua saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing close by, he told his mother, "Dear woman, look, this is your son." After this, he told the disciple, "Look, this is your mother." From that time, the disciple took care of her like his own family. After this, Yeshua, knowing that now everything had been accomplished to fulfill the scripture, said, "I am thirsty." A jar full of sour wine was close at hand, so they put a sponge soaked full of the wine on a staff with a spear point and raised it up to his mouth. When Yeshua had taken some wine, he said, "All is complete." At once he rested his head and handed over his spirit. Because it was a day of preparation and the Jewish people did not want the bodies to remain on the cross during the day of Shabbat. After all, that Shabbat was a solemn feast day. So they asked Pilate to have the legs broken so that the bodies could be taken away. With that, the Roman soldiers came and broke the legs of the first man and of the other who was being crucified along with him. When coming to Yeshua, however, since they saw that he was already dead, they did not break his legs. Nonetheless, one of the soldiers pierced his side with a spear. At once, blood and water came out. Furthermore, the one who has witnessed what happened has testified, and his testimony is true. That one knows that he is telling the truth, so that also you yourself may believe. After all, these events happened to fulfill the scripture. Not one of his bones shall be broken. Again, another scripture teaches, they shall look upon him whom they have pierced. Following these events, Yosef from Hamatayim, being a disciple of Yeshua, but a secret follower because he was afraid of some of the authorities among the people of Yehuda, asked Pilate that he might take away the body of Yeshua. Pilate granted permission, so he came and took away his body. Nicodemus, who had first come to him by night, also came bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100 pounds in weight. With that, they removed the body of Yeshua and wrapped it in linen clothes, together with the spices, as is the burial custom of the Jewish people. Now in the place where he was crucified there was a garden. In the garden was a new tomb where no one had ever been buried. Since it was the day of preparation for the Jewish people and the tomb was nearby, they buried Yeshua there.